Hello, and welcome back. And if you're new here, hi, hello, my name's Lisa. So we are now on the last day of our holiday, and as you can see, our cases are packed, and we have a couple of hours before we need to be out of the room. Jed has gone down to do his last little bit of sunbathing. He's more of a sun worshipper than me. I like a little bit of shade. I thought I would share with you 10 things I think you should know before you stay at the BEATRIZ Playa. Now, I'm sure you can find these things out from Facebook groups, but I've bundled them all together in one video just for you. Now, we did get a leaflet when we arrived, and it does mention a few of these things in here. However, I'm a little bit surprised because we have stayed in some all-inclusive, fabulous hotels all over the world, and the things that they are charging you for here, I'm just a bit surprised it's not included. However, while some of them are a bit annoying, they're also good for the environment. So I'm going to give you a full breakdown now. I have got a full list written in my phone so I don't forget anything. So let's start with number one. The plastic cup. There are no bottles of water in fridges for you to just grab on your travels. So if you are coming here, make sure you bring either a water bottle or a plastic cup, because you are going to have to hire a plastic cup for €1 for the duration of your holiday. Honestly, I've never known anything like it before. With the exception of restaurants where they do have glasses on the table, round by the pool area, there are no cups. So if you go to the bar for a drink, you need to take with you a plastic cup. There are no cups in the hotel rooms. So if you've got kids also, you're going to need to make sure that you bring with you a plastic cup, or you're going to have to hire one for a week. Now, this does mean that the pool areas are very clean because the bins are not overspilling with plastic bottles and paper cups and waste and things like that. So it does make that pool environment much nicer. And also it is obviously a lot better for the environment not having all this waste. There is a water fountain in the outside bar area where you can just go and help yourself. And between the hours of I think 1 and 3, there is a sort of drinks dispenser, you know, for like Pepsi and Fanta Lemon and that kind of thing. However, if you're all inclusive and you've got your band on, you can go up to the bar with your cups or your drink vessels, and they will fill them up for you as well. However, just be prepared for that. €1 for the plastic cup. And it does also mention about that in your information booklet that you receive when you get here. Now, when we arrived, there was no tea or coffee making facilities in the room, and I have to say I have brought coffee with us because I do like a couple of coffees in the morning. Sometimes I'm just not fussed for breakfast. A couple of coffees just does me absolutely fine. So I was a little bit disappointed to not find a kettle. So I had spoke to a friend of mine, and I was going to go to Lidl, to be honest, and just go and see if I could get a cheap one, or I was going to look into hiring one, or just go and get like a little travel kettle. So we arrived on the Friday. We were out pretty much all day on the Saturday, and when we got home on the Saturday, this little travel kettle was in here with a tray, and I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. But anyway, and there was a little basket with some tea and some coffee and some sugar sachets and 4 little tiny milk portions and 2 paper cups. Now, after that first day, the paper cups and the milk were never replenished, and we've not used the tea and the coffee in that basket because we did bring our own coffee with us, and we have bought some milk, and we did buy some fresh milk, so we had that in the fridge in the room as well with us. So yeah, at first we were kind of using these plastic cups to make our morning coffee, but then when we'd gone out one day to visit a market, we ended up buying a couple of these mugs, and they had like a little spoon in them as well, because there's no spoon. So they'd give you a kettle, some tea and some coffee, enough to make 1 cup, and then nothing to stir it with, just totally bizarre. So do be prepared if you do like a tea and coffee in the room. I would say bring a jar of your own coffee, bring mugs, bring a spoon, and yeah, get yourself a bottle of milk when you get here. There is a spa very, very close, maybe 10-minute walk, if that, 5 minutes. So yeah, if you like your tea and your coffee, you're gonna need to be prepared. This next one blows my mind. I've never had to do this in a hotel before, and that is pay to change your beach towels. Now, here is a photograph of my lovely husband holding up a beach towel. They are great quality, they are very big, and they are fantastic. However, if you would like your beach towel washed during your stay, you need to fork out €3.50. Honestly, is it just me? Have you ever known this before, that you have to pay to change your beach towels, pool towels, whatever? Totally new one on me, just bizarre. Maybe they're trying to cut down on the washing, very, very possibly. But yeah, €3. Did I say £3.50? €3.50 to change your beach towel. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the internet. I think it does say there's internet throughout the hotel. However, the internet is dreadful, absolutely awful in the room. I mean, we're quite fortunate that we do have unlimited internet on our phones, so that's okay for us. But even the signal isn't brilliant all the time. And it's kind of, at the best, we've got 1 to 2 bars of Wi-Fi. Most of the time, we don't even have that. The best internet in the hotel, there's kind of like an area in between. It's like a horseshoe, the hotel. So we're on one side here, then there's like a long bit here where you've got reception at the bottom, and then there's another side bit with hotel rooms. The best bit is basically downstairs in the middle. It's like an indoor area near the shops, like a little walk through shops there, and seated in there. Even in the reception, the signal is absolutely awful. So that little bit in the middle is quite good, and also the area downstairs where people sit and have a drink of a night, it's okay. It's not very strong. If you've got kids who and you're relying on the internet, maybe this is not the hotel for you. You might be able to rent an internet box from somewhere, I'm not sure, but if you really want the internet, then, you know, look into that. For me, for uploading videos, it's been awful. I have managed to put a few videos on, but they have taken ages to do the upload. So yeah, awkward. But if you're not going on holiday to use your phone and you just want to read a book, chill out, switch off from all of that, you will be perfectly fine. However, it could just be us and where we're situated in the hotel. There could be people in other rooms who've got amazing internet, and I do hope that's the case. But in room 3085, awful internet. There is a fridge in the room. It does take maybe enough for a couple of cans, bottle of milk. That's pretty much your limit. It was empty, not even a bottle of water in the room, absolutely nothing. So when you arrive, be prepared. The dining room does close at 9 o'clock. We were very fortunate that we got here at 8:45 and we managed to go and grab something to eat. But after that, there is nothing. So if you are arriving late, bring snacks, especially if you've got kids, or be prepared to go out and get something to eat. Now, the safe. You have to pay to use the safe. Is this normal? Because again, everywhere that we've been, there's been instructions on how to use the safe for free. So back to our trusty booklet. Every room is equipped with a safety deposit box for €4 a day to keep your valuables safe. However, we have another leaflet that says if you rent a room safe for a week, €28, you will receive an additional invitation for one person to the spa. However, you can rent the safe at reception for €4 a day. So that's quite nice. I'm not sure how much the spa is, 20 something euros. I think Jed went and asked the other day, maybe around 22. I don't know why we haven't been, because we do like a bit of a spa, but we've just been chilling, to be honest with you. So yeah, you have to pay to hire the safe. All these things, they do add up, don't they? Let's talk about plugs and sockets in the room. In this particular room, we have 5. We have one in the bathroom, bizarre, next to the hairdryer. We have one under the dressing table. However, I struggle blowing my hair stood up. So I do like to blow my hair sat down at a dressing table, which is why my hair's looked an absolute show all week, because I've not been blowing my hair and I've just been literally scrunching a load of mousse in. So under the dressing table there is one plug, however there is no mirror, which I just find completely, again, bizarre. What is the point in having a dressing table with a plug if you're not going to have a mirror? No drawers, nothing, just the fridge. There we go. Who am I to judge? Maybe that's just a thing, but I've never really known it. There's normally been a mirror. There is a full-length mirror behind me, just outside the bathroom there, that you can see. And there is another plug socket over there. So there's one under the dressing table with no mirror. There is a plug socket over by the bathroom door, and then we have one plug socket either side of the bed. So I do have these double plug adapter transformer things, so that's given us an extra 2 plug sockets. So for me, I'm normally charging things like this camera I'm using, my watch, my phone, you know, like we do need other things to plug in, don't we? And Jed has his phone and his watch, so he has a double plug socket for his side of the bed as well. And that's okay, we can manage with taking plugs out and charging different devices up, you know, like juice packs and things like that. However, if you have kids and they have iPads and loads of tech and things, you might struggle, and you might want to think about packing a, what's it called, extension, or go to the Ferreteria, which is like the like your B&Q kind of shop, and you could probably buy an extension lead to, well, you couldn't actually, could you? Because you can't plug your English plug sockets into it. You might want to think about bringing an extension lead with you with a transformer on the end, so you get like extra plug sockets. So if you've got kids or a lot of tech that you're plugging in, I don't know how much tech other people bring on holiday. I think I might have like more than a normal person, because I do have my vlogging camera, you know, and juice packs and things to help keep us charged while we're out. But yeah, so that's just something to bear in mind, really. My next gripe is the toiletries in the bathroom. Now, it's fine. There is only, in the shower, there's shampoo and like a kind of body wash, and then there's a hand wash for washing your hands, like round by the sink, which is totally fine. Don't expect any extra toiletries. We have brought everything with us. However, if you're gonna have hand wash, fill it up, and body wash, fill it up, because ours have been empty all week, which is a little bit annoying, especially more so for Jed, because he kind of likes that. And I didn't bring any shower gel with us. I just bring a bar of my Dettol soap, because that, like, I find that's really good for getting the suntan creams off when you have a shower. So if you are relying on body wash and hand wash to wash your hands, then yeah. So yeah, you know, we were nearly going to ask the cleaner the other day, could they fill them up, but we didn't see her on that particular day. So we've just used like a bar of soap for washing our hands, which is totally fine, but if it's there, you kind of expect it. So that's a little bit annoying. Now, the next thing is, this is only something that's like a little bit annoying, and it doesn't so much bother me. It probably bothers Jed more than it bothers me. And that is that there is, like, he loves his ice cream, and in the dining rooms, you've got ice cream. If you go into the dining room for your evening meal or your lunch, totally fine. However, round by the pool area in the outside dining room, there isn't always ice cream at lunchtime. And what I think is annoying for parents is that by the pool bar, there are ice creams available to buy. And if you've got kids and they're seeing these signs all the time, I just think, oh, that's just that, you know, it's just hard work, isn't it? When you've got kids and they're just seeing signs for things like ice creams, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, and they're not cheap, they are expensive. So bear that in mind. If you're looking for somewhere where you know your kids can have like all the ice creams that they want, this possibly is not the place for that, or husbands who like ice cream. So yeah, that is my 10 things that I think you really should know before you're staying here. However, I do have a couple of extra little bonus points for you. And yeah, let's get into them. So bonus point number 1, we are right next to the airport. I don't mind. absolutely not got a problem at all. Jed actually quite likes it. He's got this app on his phone and he says, oh, that person's come from Leeds Airport or they're going to Tenerife or wherever. So he does like using this app. It doesn't bother us. However, if you are a light sleeper, the planes do start early. You can hear it, and also you can hear it late at night as well. Sometimes you do get that smell of the fuel from the planes. It's inevitable, isn't it? But yeah, some days they're taking off and landing every 5 minutes or quicker. So yeah, just be prepared that you are right next to the airport. So if you are wanting somewhere quiet and you're not wanting to hear all that, this possibly isn't the hotel for you. But like I say, it doesn't bother us. Now, my loves, they're very skinny with the toilet roll. I'm not going to lie. And we are not the type of people who waste toilet roll. But sometimes when they have been in and done the room, they will leave you with like a third of a toilet roll left. And some days we don't want our room cleaned every day. You know, sometimes we don't feel like we need that. However, when we've been coming and going, I have been nicking an extra toilet roll off the trolley because I just think like, I don't need to explain myself, do I? You know, I at least expect a spare toilet roll every day. Is it just me? I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit like overthinking that, but there are two of us, and to leave us with less than a quarter of a toilet roll, it's just, yeah, no. Now, one of the announcements they make quite regularly by the pool is that there are no rubber rings or inflatables. It is mentioned in our trusty information leaflet. However, again, this is not something that bothers me. I do not mind. Kids are playing. They need their rubber rings. They want to play with them. They want to have lilos, crocodiles, unicorns, you name it. It does not bother me. But they're making these announcements all day long saying, you know, no inflatables in the pool. There are loads. Yesterday, I think there must have been 15 to 20 kids with rubber rings on. And they're making these announcements and then doing absolutely nothing about it. I don't even know why they're bothering making these announcements because, you know, no one is saying get out of the pool with them rubber rings or these lilos. It is not the kind of pool that you're going to be swimming in straight lines in. It is not that big. And when you think about the size of this hotel, there's a lot of people by the pool, lots of kids playing. Like I say, doesn't bother me at all. Let the kids have their inflatables. They're on holiday, you know, let them have them, but stop making these silly announcements if you're not going to do anything about it. Another ridiculous announcement that they make that they do absolutely zero about is reserving sunbeds. Now, it's not too bad first thing in the morning. People are not rushing to the pool, probably because the pool doesn't actually open till 10 a.m. and also it's quite shady down there most of it in the morning. So like I say, Jed's gone down about 10 o'clock and we could look over the balcony and you can see there's loads of sunbeds. However, the annoying thing is that people do reserve sunbeds and blocks of sunbeds, and I like a bit of shade, you know, so I want to try and get under the shade. I wouldn't reserve a sunbed and then go out all day and just leave it and that blocking it out for somebody else. And they're making these announcements saying you can't reserve your sunbeds, but the people who are not there are not listening to these announcements because they're not there, they're out. And they're saying if you reserve a sunbed and you're not here, we will take your towel away. They absolutely don't do that at all. So it is just an utter waste of time. You know, if you're going to make these announcements, do something about it because, you know, it is annoying. It is annoying when people reserve sunbeds and they don't arrive till like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. The sun is beautiful by this pool, probably till about 8 p.m. in the evening. The bit by the pool, it does feel extremely crammed together. We kind of go a little bit away from the pool, like I say, a little bit of a shady area for me, try and get a parasol. And they're not parasols that you can put up and down. They're just kind of like a structure with, I don't know, it's like, I don't know what it is on the top, like woodeny straw kind of stuff. So yeah, it depends what you like at a pool area. Saying that, the beach is a hop, skip and a jump away. It's really not far at all. You can literally go out the gate and you're on the beach. So Yeah, loads and loads of space down there. The beach is beautiful. It's not, there's no, I don't think on this particular stretch of the beach there are any sunbeds, but you know, pop your towel down and there's loads of space. And my last thing I'm going to have a bit of a whinge about is the cleanliness. Some areas in the hotel are spotless. When our cleaner comes, she does an amazing job in this room. The bathroom is beautiful, spotless. Could do with an extra loo roll and maybe topping up the hand soap. However, I don't have a gripe about any of that. However, the dining room is grubby, and the salt and pepper pots, oh my God, every one of them is filthy. And you know, you've probably seen from my vlogs, we've eaten out quite a lot. We have hardly eaten here. The food is okay, don't get me wrong. However, for me, I don't eat fish, and Jed eats fish, and he said there's beautiful fish every day, but the variation of meats and protein for me isn't really enough. There's only really pork chops every day, and processed sausage, processed meat, lots and lots of things like salami, which I'm not a big fan of, and I like chicken, and I think that there's been chicken once the night we arrived, and then after that I haven't seen any chicken. I don't mind chicken thighs, chicken breast, half a chicken, nothing. So for me, I feel like, yeah, I mean, there's loads of bread, and there's that kind of like when a Spanish person makes lasagna, there's not like mince in it, there's a lot of pasta. Yeah, it's very basic. If you want chicken nuggets and burgers that taste like sausage, you know, that's fine. And there's loads of salads. Yeah, and there's things like Canarian potatoes, and there's tortilla, there's paella, but there's a lot of fish in it. And again, and I had it once and the rice just wasn't cooked. So yeah, and the cleanliness in there is just You can probably tell, can't you? Anyway, we did take some pictures of the salt and pepper pots, and I'm gonna put them in now if I haven't already put it in sooner. And we did complain at reception about the cleanliness, and we did show them, and they just shrugged and went, well, tell them, don't bother telling me, basically. So, however, you know, a complaint is a complaint, and it wasn't so much a complaint, it was just like, look, you know, if you're in catering, you know, you see these things, don't you? You know, it's like I see spoons that I've never, you know, seen a spot of bleach or anything like that. But hygiene-wise, cleanliness-wise, in the dining room, yeah, around the food areas, yeah, it's just not for me. However, saying that, we have had a lovely holiday, and generally on the whole, the hotel is absolutely fine, and I'm not having a gripe. I just want you to know about the things that have kind of made me second guess, would I book and come here again? No, I don't think I would. Certain parts of it are very dated and look very untidy and a mess, and other parts of it are absolutely fine. But generally, on the whole, everything, yeah, there's better hotels out there. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, really. But yeah, that is it from me and this video. I hope you found it worthwhile watching this one today. I know it's been a bit of an odd one, and it's not for everybody, this particular video, but if you're thinking about coming and staying in this hotel, then I think these are probably some valid points that you should just be aware of. You know, it's absolutely fine, and if this is the area you want to be in, and this is the base, and this is and this is in your budget range, then if you know about all these things and you're absolutely cool with that, then that is fine. Yeah, oh, my voice has got a bit croaky. Anyway, that is all from me today. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and go and have a little look through all our Lanzarote days and nights out where we visited restaurants. I've got so much to edit and pop on this YouTube channel. However, because of the internet is so bad, I'm just gonna have to like do all my uploads and stuff when I get back home. But there we go. It is what it is, isn't it? So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.